On CNN Sports this night, another close shave in the National League playoffs, where they're all even again.
Looks like an even series to me, and right now it's even. It goes to 3 out of 5 instead of 4 out of 7.
Meanwhile, the Red Sox and A's spend another day priming for battle.
I definitely think we have a dynasty here.
It'll be an especially hot college football weekend in Florida when FSU calls on Miami. And Sam Wyche may be looking for a second job after what he got fined today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Friday night, and I'm Fred Hickman.
And I'm Nick Charles, and Fred, it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to wrench out another one-run thriller today in the National League playoffs, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this series.
Oh, it's been fun, and the real fun's yet to come. But I'll tell you what, it really doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that today's baseball game was one the Cincinnati Reds simply had to have in the worst of ways. I mean, they dropped the opener in the National League Flag Series to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the last thing the Reds needed was to head to Three River Stadium for the next 3 down to love. The Reds also knew not to expect to run up the score facing a 22-game winner today, and here he is, Doug Drabek. The Reds didn't get much of him, just enough. Paul O'Neill's little popper finds Green and brings Barry Larkin home with the first run of the ball game. 7 Reds hit in the frame, but damage control kept the ship afloat. It stayed 1-0 Cincy until the 5th when Pittsburgh's Jose leaned even matters. Jose hulked out and went deep with a rare Tom Browning boo-boo. A 1-1 game, the result of the light-hitting Lean's big fly. He only had 1 homer in the regular season. The Reds recover in their half. O'Neill again. The drive. Too tall for Barry Bonds. Winningham's able to cross with the go-ahead run. O'Neill with a heavy defensive contribution as well. More on that in a moment. But look at Barry Larkin play defense out there. Robbing Reynolds, guns his man down. Case closed. Gets the distance, Drabek does, but absorbs the loss. Dibble and Myers came on to get Browning, who spread out 6 hits to get the victory. What a game. Good pitching, timely hitting, an awful lot of solid defense. The latter being the key as Pittsburgh was taken out of several nice scoring opportunities. CNN's Tom Kirkland was at the yard and has this post-game retrospective.
The Pirates put their best arm forward, but the Reds still found a way to beat a great Doug Drabek.
We came out against a pitcher that will win the Cy Young Award in this league and scored 2 runs off of him, and our guys did the rest defensively and pitching-wise to hold the lead.
All season, the Reds ruled with the league's best defense, and it was the matinee feature on Friday. A second-inning Pittsburgh threat was dusted by the nifty pickoff. Tom Browning to Barry Larkin, Jeff King caught.
I thought I got my hand in there, but it's just how it is. I mean, not just in this series, I mean, just all year. Normally when the ball beats you, they're going to call you out most of the time.
But Game 2 really belonged to Reds right fielder Paul O'Neill. Drove home both runs and gunned down another Pirate uprising in the 6th. Andy Van Slyke slain at 3rd to complete a double play.
I decided that he was going to have to make a perfect throw, and that's exactly what happened. Gene told me to get down. I said, uh-oh. And then I heard the ball whiz by my ear, and I said, uh-oh, again. And then when Jerry rung me up, I said, uh-oh, again. So 3 uh-ohs and 2 outs is not a very good situation.
You play the game, and there's might be a couple opportunities where you can really help a team, where you get up with men on base, or you can make a play in the field, and you hope these things happen, and you hope you can come through. That's part of baseball, but they don't always work that way, so you really got to enjoy these times, and I'm as happy as I can be right now.
That feeling firmed up by nasty relief pitching and some 9th-inning robbery by Barry Larkin. This is why they call him the glue.
Dibble came in, did a tremendous job again. Randy Myers did a tremendous job. We've been playing defense well all year, and it really helped out today.
It's 1-1, and we have to worry about now. It's a 5-game series, and just going in there and focusing on what we have to do. You never look back.
After taking the whole weekend off, the series resumes east on the Ohio River. They'll play the next 3 games at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. But from all indications, we'll probably have to come back here before it's decided. From the National League Championship Series in Cincinnati, Tom Kirkland, CNN Sports.
You know what, and I'll bet you the Bucks are anxious to get away from Riverfront Stadium. They had an afternoon start in October. Everybody was saying any ball hit to left field was going to be problems. And Barry Bonds, well, there was nothing he could do with it. Looked up, all he saw was sun.
I really like this series, Fred. I like the fact that both teams are so aggressive, and I know they've run themselves out of innings a couple of times on the base paths, but why get cautious? Why start to choke and get clammy and all that stuff just because you're in the playoffs? They're doing what brought them here, and I like that.
Well, it seems as though Barry Bonds might be squeezing the bat a little bit hard. One for 7 right now. He's in the middle of the order.
Could be. Yeah, he never hit well this year against the Reds, so hard to say. That's why they play 7.
We'll see what happens Monday.
Right, it's best of 5 now. Anyway, a lot of people are all ready to concede the whole postseason anyway to Oakland. The Athletics are the unmistakable favorites to win it all again. Some say the A's are even stronger now. But are the Red Sox only victims? So much litter in the way of a steamroller? We'll know soon enough. The series starts tomorrow night in Boston, and that's where CNN's Hannah Storm is with a playoff preview.
Loose and confident. The Oakland A's are overwhelming favorites in their 3rd straight trip to the playoffs. A true test for the scrappy bunch from Beantown. The Red Sox were swept by Oakland in '88, and they lost 2/3 of their games to the A's this year.
We have a great ball club. You know, have the speed, they have power, they have everything, they have pitching, everything. This means that, but they are human beings.
But with seemingly superhuman speed, Ricky Henderson alone has 12 more steals than the entire Boston team.
They got a great catch out of him, you know, so he's going to try to slow us down, but, you know, we get on enough and wear him down, seems like we probably can take it to him.
And sock it to him. While Boston ranked 12th in the league in home runs, the A's were 3rd. And only a powerful player would have the guts to sport a hot pink bat. Canseco just as bold with his words.
I definitely think we have a dynasty here. And to me, I'll be honest, and this might be the best team in baseball that there has ever been assembled.
Best of all time versus a team that hasn't won a World Series in a long time. Hanging in Fenway, the numbers of Boston's best. They also mark a date, September 4th, 1918, the eve of their last winning World Series. As long as we're talking history, and they love to talk history here in Boston, remember back to 1975. That was when Oakland had won back-to-back-to-back World Championships. And then Boston swept them in the playoffs.
Some people think we're the favorites, but we don't pay attention to that. I think it's a competition where there's no guarantees, but we just want to go ahead and take our best shot.
And Boston comes charging in.
I don't think that we're going to have to get fired up for the game tomorrow night because, you know, we've been in an intense situation for the last 2 weeks. And we said it's just a playoff atmosphere the past 2 weeks, and we're just going to carry it on over.
No doubt about it. They're a tremendous ball club, and they are the favorite to win. And if we win, it just makes it that much sweeter for us. If they lose, it makes it that much tougher for them.
That's the beauty of a fall day at Fenway. Things could swing either way. In Boston, I'm Hannah Storm, CNN Sports.
And they open the ball with a bang Saturday night. Roger Clemens against Dave Stewart. For Boston to win, a lot of people think the Rocket Man will have to win 3 games. Most feel Clemens has to win tomorrow night. And in keeping with his pregame routine today, he didn't talk to the media. And Stewart, who's owned the Red Sox this year, had his pressure hardened to the rigors of any postseason spotlight, figures all he has to do is to be himself.
Bottom line is, if I come out and I don't pitch well against the Boston Red Sox, then we're not going to have a chance to win a ball game. So what I'm going to do is just try to come out and execute against their hitters and make sure that we have a chance to win.
Well, Stewart is 6-0 lifetime against Clemens. Also, the A's have a 27-game winner, Bob Welch, cocked and loaded to go in Game 2. Wow. It really puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the Red Sox. They have to win tomorrow night.
No question about it. And you know where the Red Sox are really hurting is in their bullpen. Middle relief. You know, Oakland's just loaded. They've got everything. They got the 2 guys to set up Eckersley from either side of the plate. They've got Honeycutt out there. They got Nelson out there. I don't know how they're going to win, but I'm hoping it's going to be a good series.
Well, I just think Clemens, I think it's all on the pitching rotation. I think Moore's had a less than sensational year. Same with Sanderson. I think both those guys are beatable, but they've got to have their gun. The Rocket Man's got to come through for them because there's a huge fall off after that. Well, it just puts a terrible burden, I think. But I'm sure Clemens loves the pressure.
Well, playing those guys has got to be a burden anytime. Of course, our reporter Hannah Storm and our analyst Hal Bodley will be on the scene in Boston. Point of origin for CNN's Baseball 90, Sunday at 6 Eastern Time.
Okay, big baseball weekend. Actually, the National League rests all weekend. They'll get going yet on Monday. But coming up, NFL news, Sam Wyche could have bought robes for everybody in the league and got off cheaper than what it's going to cost him now. The Bengals coach may have to take out an installment loan or get a second job. We'll explain next. Stay with us.
At every commissary, there's something real nice. People who can help you out when you need some advice. Just ask the folks who run the store. That's what you should do. Your commissary helpers are there to help you. Just ask the folks who run the store. When you're in doubt, your commissary helpers are glad to help you out. Can't find what you need, you don't know the price, like where's the lettuce, how much is the rice? Or maybe a problem with numerals and dice. Whatever the question, here's a suggestion. Just ask the folks who run the store. That's what you should do. Your commissary helpers are there to help you. So just ask the folks who run the store.
When was the last time you enjoyed an MWR program? Ever thought about who funds these programs? Well, in most cases you do when you pay user fees. When you buy from the exchange or other resale options.
Sometimes the price of one's standing by one's convictions can run awfully high. And such is the case with Cincinnati Bengals head coach Sam Wyche, who today was fined an estimated $30,000 by NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. The sanction is the result of Coach Wyche's barring a woman reporter from his post-game locker room in Seattle Monday night.
The commissioner feels like it's more important to find me than to try to see if there's another solution. It bothers me that when I, honest to goodness, tried to do something that I thought was right. I mean, I thought I was really trying to ensure that a situation that had gotten out of hand in one city, New England, didn't happen in ours. We didn't abuse the spirit of this rule at all. In fact, we enhanced the expediency of it.
Well, the fine is the largest of its kind and is actually 1/17 of Wyche's annual salary, which is believed to be $500,000 this year, and it is unappealable. Wyche's Plan B proposal, as it's so-called, which would have had the room open for 20 minutes right after the game and then closed while the players showered, was rejected by the commissioner. So the bottom line is Wyche will pay. The Bengals locker room in Anaheim for the Rams game Sunday will be open, and the team has indicated it will take up the issue with the league after the season's completed. Okay?
Get this. Steelers coach Chuck Knowles ordered offensive coordinator Joe Walton to cut out a lot of his offense for Sunday's game against the Chargers. That's odd. I thought Pittsburgh had carved away all of its offense in the first quarter of the season, which has produced a 1-3 record and not a single touchdown on offense. The attack has punted on 26 of 46 possessions and penetrated inside the opponent's 20 just 6 times in 4 games. Knowles said they can't play any worse. So if the new offensive coordinator keeps it simple, what do they possibly have to lose except a playbook that probably resembles the Pittsburgh phone book in thickness?
If you're on the field.
In other NFL news, Packers coach Lindy Infante suspended running back Herman Fontenot for 2 weeks for conduct detrimental to the team. Infante wouldn't elaborate. Fontenot was acquired by the Packers this year after 6 seasons in Cleveland, several when Infante was the Browns' offensive coordinator. For much more in Week 5 in the NFL and the latest news, I invite you to join CNN's Vince Cellini and analyst Ken Stabler on CNN's NFL Preview Sunday morning. They'll talk about the games and have a report on red-hot running back Derek Fenner of the Seahawks, who's been a smash on the field but who's had big problems off it and could be in trouble again.
This is a good opportunity, good chance for me, and, you know, I can't go out and screw around in the streets and, you know, get in fights and that sort of thing.
Fenner faces possible assault charges in Seattle, where a local man this week accused him of punching and kicking him inside and outside a Seattle bar and threatening to shoot him.
Well, they used to call Penn State the football factory, USC the tailback factory, and these days they're referring to the state of Florida simply as the football factory overall. With all deference to the up-and-coming and yet perfect Florida Gators, thanks for that moniker primarily goes to 2 programs, Miami and Florida State. The Seminoles are unbeaten and rated 2nd in the nation, while the once-beaten Hurricanes are ranked number 9, and push comes to shove tomorrow at the Orange Bowl. Enough said. Almost.
Everything you're worth should be spent during this week. This is why you came to the University of Miami to play Florida State in the Orange Bowl.
Well, I guess that pretty much sums up the emotions running through the heads of both teams. There's so much on the line at the Orange Bowl, where Miami has won its last 33 games. Among that number, the 31-0 flogging of the Noles in 1988.
It should help us to realize what Miami can do to you. I mean, anybody that was here for that ball game saw how bad. We took a We took a great ball club down there and just got annihilated. And I think we'll catch them in that same frame of mind this year because we beat them last year. They'll be in a very tough frame of mind.
That may have a little something to do with the fact that Miami's only loss last season came at the hands of Florida State, a loss which almost cost Miami the national title. They cannot afford a reprise. The national title. They cannot afford a reprise, especially after losing this year's opener to Brigham Young. This one might come down to strength against strength. Miami quarterback Craig Erickson has thrown for 1,126 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Their offense is dangerous. It's an explosive. I mean, you might hold them for a quarter, then bam, 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 they got 3 on you just like that. They scared me to death offensively.
But Florida State has plenty of talent on the defensive side of the football, and absolutely no fear. 9 interceptions as a team, 4 by that greedy quarterback, Terrell Buckley.
I wouldn't mind picking off 3 or 4 and scoring 3 or 4 touchdowns. Well, I believe he's an average quarterback. You know, all the hype is that he's a Heisman candidate. He hasn't showed me anything of that type of player.
Of course, Florida State can light up a scoreboard as well. The Seminoles average 40 points per game, as does Miami. And the guy who makes it go is 66% passer, junior Brad Johnson.
They have to face us. We can't worry about, who's who and so-and-so's, All-American and everything like that. We have to worry about ourselves, execute our game plan, and, things will work out. You can't get caught up in the hype.
Got an outstanding football team on both sides, and very impressive. The key to them is speed. When you watch Miami and Florida State play, we play a lot the same type of style as far as the speed aspect of it is concerned.
Yes, their attacks are the same, as are their desires.
Just to hit people, throw people, hit people real hard.
Fred Hickman, CNN Sports. That's me, and I guess that sums it up.
Don't hit us.
Yeah, please. Curry and company have taken umbrage to comments that the old Canes line ain't what she used to be. You can see here more about it on CNN's College Football Preview, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Dan Hicks and Dan Sheridan deliver the groceries. The latter, Dan, will be picking the winner.
Well, that Bobby Bowden has some camera presence. He just jumps right out of the lens.
By the way, he is going for his 200th coaching victory tomorrow.
He's a tremendous coach. He really is. Yeah. Erickson's no slouch either.
No, it's going to be a great football game, I think.
Well, coming up, the only pro game in town tonight. Would you believe the Lemulus Penguins waddle into Washington? They were just filling up the net tonight. Look, we'll shed some more light on that subject and more when CNN Sports Tonight continues.
Go.
Have you thought about what you're going to leave behind when you leave the military? Like the excitement, the satisfaction of being part of a very special team, not to mention your friends who shared all the good times with you. Don't let it all slip away. You can keep those good feelings and your benefits alive with the Air National Guard's Try-One program. In the Try-One program, you give us 1 year of part-time service and we'll give you back everything you're about to lose by leaving active duty. What's more, you can protect the time you've already invested toward retirement benefits. They keep adding up when you serve as little as 2 days a month and 2 weeks a year. So contact your base career advisor about the Try-One program now, before you're back to being a civilian. Rise above the ordinary in the Air National Guard.
America's military, strong as steel. But fraud, waste, and abuse can compromise strength and readiness. They can even threaten lives. If you suspect fraud, waste, or abuse, it's vital to report it immediately through your chain of command or by writing or calling the DOD hotline. Help keep America strong and safe. Put an end to fraud, waste, and abuse.
Tonight in the NHL, when they hit the ice with a vengeance, scheduling 9 games. Tonight, only the Penguins and Capitals came out to play. Pittsburgh should be fighting for its life without Mario Lemieux, who could be out 3 months with back problems. but Washington figures to do some serious struggling as well. The Caps' big question has suddenly become defense, and Pittsburgh with a new coach, Badger Bob, saying, what's that hospital report on Lemieux? Let's get going. We need him. First period, John Cullen falls down, puts the puck on the stick of Kevin Stevens. He maneuvers in. Mike Liud stops him. Stevens picks up his own rebound, and Pittsburgh goes ahead. Mike Lawler then drops it ahead for Dale Hunter. Look at this breakaway, clearing pass, and Hunter in on Tom Barrasso and gets denied. And they say, you mean he missed that shot? I can't believe it. A battle along the boards. Good checking here. Mark Recchi digs it out, slides it to Joey Mullen. Remember, he wraps it around. He used to be with Calgary last year. Stuffs it in, 4-3 Pittsburgh. Less than 3 minutes later, Caps on a power play. Bob Rouse to Dino Cicerelli. His shot is stopped, but the new Cap, Peter Zezel, pokes in the rebound and ties the game. The Penguins go ahead in the third, 5-4. And then break out 3-on-2. John Cullen to Mark Recchi. Recchi, 2 goals, 2 assists. They say he could be the new star in a gold and black uniform, certainly until Mario Lemieux gets back. 7-4 Pittsburgh. Recchi with 2 goals and 2 assists. The only game in town, Fred.
Well, it's been revealed the New York Mets have a troubled young man on their roster. Outfielder Mark Carrion has been receiving care at the Smithers Center for Alcohol and Drug Treatment Center in New York since late last month. Now, the club had nothing more to add to that, pointing out that this is a personal issue. Carrion finished the season on the disabled list, as you'll recall, after doing his knee running the bases August 20th. The surgery followed. He is the 4th Mets player to be treated at Smithers in the last 4 years, whatever that's worth. And tough news for the Cleveland Indians, who will be without starting right-handed pitcher John Farrell for most of next season. Farrell underwent surgery today on the right elbow. A bone chip was removed, and the ulnar nerve was relocated. 6 months of rest, rehabbing, and spring training. Prognosis, though, is good.
NBA news starts off the court, where in Detroit, a television reporter dropped assault charges against Isaiah Thomas after the Pistons star apologized for allegedly choking him and throwing him against a car in the parking lot where the Pistons practice. Thomas had said the reporter wouldn't let him get into his car. Former Georgia star and first-round draft choice Alec Kessler signed a contract with the NBA Miami Heat late last night, but a routine physical detected a shin bone fracture today that'll keep the 6'10 forward from even jogging for a month. Kessler was the 12th player chosen in the June draft and signed a contract expected to pay him $1 million a year. And the oldest guard in the NBA label will finally belong to somebody else than this guy, because John Lucas surprised nobody today by retiring. Lucas is 36, was obtained by Atlanta in a trade with the Rockets. Lucas played for 6 teams in 14 seasons, including 3 stints with the Rockets, over a checkered career that included several battles with drugs. Fred?
Well, it's time now for that moment which sets our collective heart all a Twitter, reserved for the franchise moves and the biggest hitter. So let's give her the gas and tweak the transmitter, because it's time for the pod. A sure go-getter. What do you want on a Friday night? Paul Robeson. Anyway, we go to Tallahassee, the $1 million Centel Classic 14th tee par 3. Beth Daniels, 3-iron, and she lands it right smack dab in the middle of the green, 175 yards away, and then right into the hole. The ace. Man, shot around to 63, but none prettier than this particular piece of work. Beth Daniel. Man. And you know the beauty of this whole thing? She holds it out, and she knew right away, yeah, oh yeah, I'm the play of the day. No doubt about it. Keep the trophy.
Could read lips, too.
Play of the day. When I first entered on the stage of public life, I came to a resolution never to wear any other character than that of a farmer.
I guess it's just the way the country started out, because, you know, planting corn and raising it.
Cultivators of the earth are the most valuable citizens. They're the most vigorous, the most independent, the most virtuous. And they're tied to their country and wedded to its liberty and interests by the most lasting bonds.
Calves, they start coming along usually just in the spring, and you see them little rascals coming up and up and up and up. You enjoy seeing them grow.
Agriculture is the basis of the subsistence, the comforts, and the happiness of man.
The Far East Network, Okinawa.
We're at the end. TV 11.
CFN Intrastation Crete.
AFM Frankfurt.
AFRTS on AFTV Thule.
This is the Armed Forces Radio.
The Alaskan Forces Radio Network. AFRTS is more than just your local station. It's a worldwide service that delivers the best in programming wherever Americans are stationed. Nobody delivers like AFRTS.
CNN Sports. 38-year-old Jimmy Connors is still having too much fun to change jobs and will have wrist surgery next week to repair a nagging injury. Connors had been bothered by the wrist for the past 8 months and played in only 3 tournaments this year, but now says he'll begin his 20th professional season on the tour in January. And Fred, I thought he should have retired a couple of years ago, but I was wrong. As long as a guy has a chance of making it to quarterfinals in any big event, I think he should stick around. He's such good entertainment. He's mellowed, he's matured, he's great for the tour.
He's a crowd pleaser. He makes great copy for guys like us to talk with, and he's been around. I think he's good for the game, good for tennis. But you know what? Speaking of ailments, it comes to mind, speaking of the Pittsburgh Pirates as well, that Jeff King did damage his back today. Starts against left-handers. The Cincinnati Reds are going to come with Danny Jackson on Monday, so that could be a key injury to keep an eye on.
Gee, I was listening on the radio, in fact, and they were saying what a key play this could be, and it was in the early innings. He gets picked off, could have saved a run, maybe a hit. They get a couple men on, and it turned out to be the case. Another one-run game. The Pirates and Reds are playing it beautiful. I said at the beginning of the show, I love this series.
It's a chess match. It's a chess match. I can't wait until Monday when they get started again. Of course, the American League Series between Oakland and Boston gets underway at Fenway Park tomorrow. Our crew is there. We're all over this thing.
Well, we'll be watching. Have a great weekend in the meantime. I'm Nick Charles.
And I'm Fred Hickman. Newsnight next.